The cheapest SUV to buy is not always the cheapest SUV to own. That is the mistake thousands of buyers make every year. They compare sticker prices, they calculate the monthly payment, they negotiate a few $100s off the deal, and then they ignore the expenses that continue arriving for the next 5 years: fuel, insurance, maintenance, repairs, interest, tires, registration, and the biggest cost of all for many owners: depreciation. An SUV can save you $1,000 at the dealership and lose $5,000 more in value. Another can cost more initially, but use less fuel, require fewer repairs, and remain worth far more when you sell it. That is why monthly payment alone tells you almost nothing about the real cost of ownership. Today, we are ranking 7 SUVs with some of the lowest potential 5-year ownership costs. We are comparing the Mazda CX-5, Hyundai Tucson, Subaru Forester, Subaru Crosstrek, Honda CR-V, Toyota RAV4, and Toyota Corolla Cross. But there is something important you need to understand before we begin. There is no universal 5-year ownership number. Insurance changes depending on your age, driving record, and location. Fuel costs depend on how many miles you drive. Financing depends on your credit. Maintenance costs change depending on the dealership or repair shop you use, and the exact trim can completely change the result. A base SUV with smaller wheels can cost thousands less to own than a luxury trim of the same model. So this ranking focuses on sensible mainstream configurations, not the largest wheels, not the most powerful engines, not every technology package, and not trims filled with equipment most owners never use. The vehicle at number 7 uses a relatively conventional engine and transmission, but standard all-wheel drive and average fuel economy increase its running costs. The SUVs in the middle combine reasonable prices with useful capability, and the number 1 vehicle wins because it combines a low purchase price, excellent fuel economy, and strong resale value. It is not the most comfortable SUV here. It is not the most powerful, and it is definitely not the most exciting. But 5 years after the purchase, excitement is not the number that appears in your bank account. Let's begin. Number 7. Mazda CX-5. At number 7 is the Mazda CX-5. And being last in this ranking does not mean the CX-5 is expensive to own. Compared with many turbocharged luxury or European SUVs, the Mazda can still be a financially sensible purchase. Its biggest advantage is mechanical familiarity. The standard CX-5 uses a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine and a conventional 6-speed automatic transmission. There is no turbocharger on the standard configuration. There is no hybrid battery, and there is no belt-driven continuously variable transmission. That matters because conventional mechanical systems are often easier for independent repair shops to understand. They also give owners a clearer idea of what maintenance will be required: oil changes, transmission fluid, coolant, brakes, tires, and normal suspension wear. The basic expenses are relatively predictable. But the CX-5 loses points in 2 areas: fuel economy and standard all-wheel drive. The 2026 CX-5 returns approximately 26 miles per gallon combined in its standard configuration. That is acceptable. It is not exceptional. A driver covering 15,000 miles per year could use hundreds more gallons during 5 years than someone driving a hybrid CR-V, RAV4, or Corolla Cross. The difference may not feel significant during 1 month. Across 75,000 miles, it becomes real money. Standard all-wheel drive also means every owner is paying for additional capability. That is valuable in snow, rain, and difficult terrain. It is less valuable for someone living in a warm city who rarely leaves paved roads. The system adds weight and mechanical components. It also makes tire maintenance more important. All 4 tires should remain closely matched in size and wear. If one tire is badly damaged after the others are partially worn, replacing only that tire may not always be the smartest decision. A full set of tires can become an unexpected expense. Wheel size matters too. Higher trims often use larger wheels and lower profile tires. They may improve appearance, but the tires cost more, provide less protection against potholes, and can reduce ride comfort. The smartest 5-year CX-5 is usually not the most expensive version. Choose the naturally aspirated engine. Choose smaller wheels. Avoid appearance packages that increase tire costs. And do not purchase the turbo unless the additional performance is genuinely important. The turbocharged model is considerably faster. It can also use more fuel and adds another expensive component operating under heat and pressure. The CX-5 can compensate for some of its fuel expense through reasonable purchase pricing and a powertrain that avoids unnecessary complexity. It may be especially sensible for someone who drives fewer miles per year. If you travel only 6,000 or 7,000 miles annually, the difference between 26 and 40 miles per gallon matters much less. In that situation, paying thousands more for a hybrid may not produce enough fuel savings during 5 years to recover the higher purchase price. The Mazda also offers an interior that feels more premium than many similarly priced competitors. That can prevent buyers from moving into a luxury brand where maintenance, insurance, and depreciation may become much more expensive. You may receive the atmosphere you wanted without accepting luxury ownership costs, but the CX-5 ranks 7th because fuel is a major 5-year expense. Its standard all-wheel drive is useful, but unavoidable. And a newly redesigned generation introduces electronics and components that have not yet accumulated years of ownership data. Choose it for its driving experience and conventional powertrain. Do not choose it because you expect it to be the absolute cheapest SUV in this group. Mazda lists the 2026 CX-5 from roughly $29,990, with EPA estimates of about 24 city, 30 highway, and 26 combined for the standard model. Number 6. Hyundai Tucson Hybrid. At number 6 is the Hyundai Tucson Hybrid, and this might be the most complicated vehicle to rank. During the first 5 years, it can be remarkably affordable to operate. The Tucson Hybrid begins at a competitive price, delivers strong fuel economy, and provides extensive warranty coverage for eligible original owners. That combination protects the buyer from several major expenses. Fuel use is especially impressive. Front-wheel drive hybrid configurations can return approximately 38 miles per gallon combined. For an SUV with useful passenger space and more than 230 horsepower, that is a strong result. The electric motor assists during acceleration. Regenerative braking recovers energy while slowing down. And the gasoline engine does not need to perform all the work by itself. A driver who spends significant time in city traffic can save a meaningful amount of gasoline compared with the regular Tucson. But fuel economy is only one part of ownership cost. The Tucson Hybrid combines a turbocharged gasoline engine, an electric motor, a high-voltage battery, and a conventional automatic transmission. That system gives the Hyundai a natural driving experience. You feel actual gear changes, acceleration is strong, and the electric motor helps reduce the hesitation sometimes associated with a turbocharged engine. But long-term complexity matters. The turbocharger requires clean oil. The automatic transmission requires correct fluid. The hybrid system has its own electrical and cooling components. During the first 5 years, warranty coverage can reduce much of the financial risk. After the warranty periods begin expiring, the ownership equation becomes more uncertain. This is why the Tucson Hybrid can be an excellent 5-year vehicle without automatically being the simplest 15-year vehicle. Depreciation is another consideration. Hyundai has improved its design, technology, and reputation dramatically. But Toyota and Honda SUVs often retain a larger percentage of their original price. That difference becomes visible when you trade or sell the vehicle. Imagine 2 SUVs that cost approximately the same when new. After 5 years, one is worth $25,000, the other is worth $21,000. The second SUV may have saved several $100s through warranty coverage or dealership discounts, but it lost thousands more through depreciation. Resale value is not guaranteed. Market conditions change, fuel prices change, and individual vehicle condition matters. But buyers should never ignore depreciation simply because it does not arrive as a monthly bill. It is still money leaving your ownership equation. The Tucson Hybrid offers strong practical value. The rear seat is spacious, the cargo area is useful, and even lower trims include modern safety and convenience equipment. That can prevent buyers from spending thousands on expensive packages, but technology needs to be selected carefully. A large screen may be standard. Additional cameras, larger wheels, premium audio systems, and powered equipment can quickly increase the purchase price. Every added dollar also affects financing and taxes. The least expensive Tucson Hybrid to own will normally be one of the lower or middle trims. Smaller wheels reduce tire costs. A lower purchase price reduces interest, and fewer luxury features create fewer expensive components that could eventually fail. The Tucson Hybrid is an especially strong choice for someone purchasing new, keeping the vehicle for roughly 5 years and taking full advantage of the original owner warranty. It becomes less financially convincing for someone who frequently changes vehicles before the fuel savings accumulate. It may also be less appealing to a buyer planning to keep the SUV for 15 years and prioritizing the simplest possible powertrain. The Hyundai ranks 6th because it can deliver low fuel and repair expenses during the early ownership period, but depreciation and mechanical complexity prevent it from moving higher. Hyundai lists the 2026 Tucson Hybrid from approximately $30,950, with front-wheel drive versions rated at up to 40 city, 35 highway, and 38 combined miles per gallon. Number 5. Subaru Forester. At number 5 is the Subaru Forester. The Forester proves that a vehicle can include standard all-wheel drive without automatically becoming expensive to own. It begins at a reasonable price. It provides competitive fuel economy for an all-wheel drive SUV. It offers excellent visibility, and its practical interior can remain useful through several stages of life. That last point matters. Replacing a vehicle too early can become more expensive than maintenance. A small SUV may look affordable until the family outgrows it after 3 years. A stylish SUV may become frustrating when limited visibility or difficult controls make the owner want something different. The Forester's upright shape, generous passenger space, and useful cargo area reduce the chance that owners will replace it simply because their needs changed. But standard all-wheel drive still creates costs. You are maintaining additional drivetrain components. Tire condition becomes more important. And the vehicle cannot offer the lower purchase price and reduced weight of a basic front-wheel drive configuration. For buyers who live in snow, rain, or rural areas, that trade-off is reasonable. They are using the capability they paid for. For someone living in a warm urban area, the Forester may include equipment that provides little financial return. Fuel economy is competitive, but not class-leading in the conventional gasoline model. The standard Forester can reach approximately 33 miles per gallon on the highway. That is respectable for an SUV with permanent all-wheel drive capability, but hybrid competitors can use significantly less fuel in city traffic. Subaru also offers a Forester Hybrid. It improves city efficiency and can reach approximately 35 miles per gallon combined. The problem is purchase price. The hybrid starts several $1,000s above the gasoline model. Whether it saves money during 5 years depends heavily on annual mileage. A driver covering 20,000 city miles per year may recover the premium. Someone driving 8,000 mostly highway miles may not. The word hybrid does not automatically mean cheapest. You need to compare the price difference against realistic fuel savings. The gasoline Forester may remain the lower-cost choice for moderate mileage buyers. The hybrid may be better for high-mileage urban drivers. Insurance costs can also benefit from the Forester's mainstream positioning. It is not marketed as a high-performance SUV. It does not produce excessive horsepower. And its practical design attracts buyers focused on transportation rather than aggressive driving. Actual premiums depend on the owner, but avoiding powerful turbocharged or luxury trims can help reduce the overall expense. The greatest ownership warning is the continuously variable transmission. The CVT needs correct fluid and responsible maintenance. Owners should not assume that a component can be ignored because the manual or dealership uses language suggesting long service intervals. Heat, hills, towing, and stop-and-go traffic affect fluid condition. An owner planning to keep the Forester should discuss preventative service with a qualified Subaru technician. The Boxer engine can also make certain repairs more labor-intensive because of its horizontal cylinder layout. That does not mean routine ownership will be expensive. It means a neglected vehicle can become costly. The smartest Forester configuration for 5-year ownership is usually a normal gasoline trim rather than the Wilderness. The Wilderness offers greater off-road capability, specialized tires, and rugged equipment. Those features increase purchase price and fuel use. They make sense for drivers who need them. They do not make financial sense for someone whose most difficult journey is a paved shopping center parking lot. The Forester ranks 5th because it combines practicality, reasonable pricing, and standard capability. But buyers who do not need all-wheel drive may spend less with a front-wheel drive CR-V, RAV4 or Corolla Cross. The 2026 gasoline Forester begins near $29,995 and is rated at up to 26 city and 33 highway miles per gallon, while the Forester Hybrid starts around $34,730 and can reach approximately 35 miles per gallon combined. Number 4. Subaru Crosstrek. At number 4 is the Subaru Crosstrek. The Crosstrek uses a simple strategy to reduce ownership costs. Start with a lower purchase price, keep the vehicle relatively small, include standard all-wheel drive, and avoid pretending to be a luxury SUV. The base 2026 Crosstrek begins under $27,000 before destination charges and options. That creates an immediate financial advantage. A lower purchase price means lower sales tax in many locations, less money financed, less interest paid, and potentially lower insurance costs than a much more expensive SUV. Those savings begin on the first day of ownership. The Crosstrek also returns up to approximately 33 miles per gallon on the highway in its conventional gasoline form. That is not hybrid-level efficiency, but it is reasonable for a vehicle with standard all-wheel drive and useful ground clearance. The vehicle's smaller size also helps reduce certain operating expenses. Tires can cost less than those fitted to larger SUVs, especially when you avoid the biggest wheel options. Brakes have less mass to stop. And the engine is moving a lighter vehicle than the Forester CR-V or RAV4. But the Crosstrek's financial advantage only works if the vehicle is large enough for your needs. A low-cost SUV becomes expensive when you replace it early. The rear seat is useful, but not enormous. The cargo area is practical for its size, but it cannot match larger compact SUVs. A couple or small family may find it perfect. A family carrying large strollers, sports equipment, pets and travel luggage may outgrow it. That is why size must be treated as an ownership expense. Imagine buying the Crosstrek because it saves $4,000 compared with a larger SUV. 3 years later, you trade it because the cargo area is no longer sufficient. You absorb depreciation, financing expenses, and dealership fees twice. The larger vehicle may have been cheaper over the complete period. Buy the Crosstrek because it fits your life. Not only because it fits your payment. Standard all-wheel drive creates the same tire warning as the Forester. Keep all 4 tires closely matched. Check tire pressures, rotate them regularly, and do not ignore uneven wear. Saving money by delaying tire replacement can place additional stress on more expensive drivetrain components. The CVT also needs responsible maintenance. The Crosstrek is often purchased by people who use it on mountain roads, snow, and unpaved surfaces. Those conditions can create more heat and stress than gentle commuting. The maintenance strategy should reflect the way the vehicle is used. The standard gasoline Crosstrek is probably the lowest cost configuration for most 5-year owners. Subaru now offers a hybrid, but its higher purchase price must be compared with the fuel savings. A city driver covering high annual mileage may benefit. A low-mileage owner may spend less overall with the gasoline model. The wilderness trim is also difficult to justify purely on cost. It includes off-road focused equipment and less efficient tires. It is valuable for someone using rough trails. It is unnecessary for someone attracted mainly by the appearance. Resale value is another Crosstrek advantage. Small Subaru models often remain desirable in regions where all-wheel drive is valuable. A well-maintained Crosstrek can attract buyers looking for an affordable used vehicle with winter capability. Condition matters enormously. Scratched body panels may be understandable. Neglected fluids, mismatched tires, and underbody corrosion are much more serious. The Crosstrek ranks 4th because it provides a low entry price without stripping away useful capability. It is one of the least expensive ways to obtain standard all-wheel drive from a mainstream brand. But its smaller interior means buyers need to be honest about their future space requirements. The 2026 Crosstrek begins around $26,995, includes standard all-wheel drive, and returns up to approximately 26 city and 33 highway miles per gallon in conventional gasoline trims. Number 3. Honda CR-V. At number 3 is the Honda CR-V. The CR-V does not win by being the least expensive SUV to purchase. It wins by spreading its value across several categories: fuel economy, interior space, resale value, parts availability, and the probability that the vehicle will remain useful for the entire 5-year period. Honda offers the CR-V with a turbocharged gasoline engine or a 2-motor hybrid powertrain. The gasoline version begins at a lower price. The hybrid costs more, but can reach approximately 43 miles per gallon in the city and 36 on the highway in its most efficient front-wheel drive configuration. Which one costs less over 5 years? That depends on mileage. A driver traveling fewer than 8,000 miles per year may not save enough fuel to justify the hybrid premium. A commuter covering 18,000 miles in urban traffic could recover the difference much faster. The hybrid also uses regenerative braking, which can reduce conventional brake wear. But it adds a high-voltage battery and hybrid electronics. The gasoline model costs less initially, but uses a turbocharger and CVT. There is no universally cheapest CR-V. There is only the configuration that matches the driver. The CR-V's greatest financial advantage may be space. It provides roughly 39 cubic feet of cargo room behind the second row in several configurations and up to about 76.5 cubic feet with the rear seats folded. That makes it more difficult for a family to outgrow. Children grow, car seats change, strollers become sports equipment, small grocery trips become family vacations. The CR-V can adapt without forcing the owner into another purchase. That flexibility has financial value even though it does not appear on the window sticker. Resale value is another major strength. The 2026 CR-V was listed by Kelley Blue Book among the vehicles with strong projected resale performance, with an estimated 5-year retained value above 50%. No resale prediction is guaranteed. Accidents, mileage, condition, and market demand can change the result. But stronger retained value reduces the largest hidden ownership expense. It also makes repairs easier to justify. Imagine that a 5-year-old CR-V needs tires, brakes, and suspension work. The total is significant. But the SUV still has strong market value and several useful years remaining. Repairing it may be a rational decision. The same expense feels much more dangerous on a heavily depreciated vehicle. Parts and service availability also reduce ownership friction. Honda sells large numbers of CR-Vs. Dealerships understand them. Independent repair shops are familiar with the platform, and maintenance components are generally easy to locate. A rare vehicle may be reliable. But when it does need a part, limited availability can increase labor time and waiting periods. The CR-V avoids much of that problem. There are still ways to make it unnecessarily expensive. Large wheels increase tire prices. All-wheel drive adds weight and components. Higher trims add powered equipment and electronics, and financing an expensive version can erase some of the fuel savings. A front-wheel drive CR-V is usually the lower-cost option for drivers living in mild climates. All-wheel drive should be chosen because the roads require it, not because SUV advertising makes it feel mandatory. The CR-V ranks third because it provides one of the strongest complete ownership packages. It is efficient, spacious, easy to service, and likely to retain meaningful value. But the two Toyota models ahead of it combine even stronger fuel economy and depreciation advantages. Honda lists the 2026 CR-V Hybrid from approximately $35,630 with ratings up to 43 city and 36 highway miles per gallon. Several configurations provide 39.3 cubic feet behind the second row and 76.5 cubic feet behind the first. Kelley Blue Book's 2026 resale awards estimate the CR-V retaining roughly 53.2% after 5 years. Number 2. Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. At number 2 is the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. The RAV4 demonstrates why paying more at the dealership can sometimes produce lower ownership costs. The 2026 model is now built around hybrid and plug-in hybrid powertrains. The standard hybrid can return up to approximately 44 miles per gallon combined in front-wheel drive form, while all-wheel drive versions can reach around 40 combined. Those numbers significantly reduce fuel expenses for high-mileage drivers. The Toyota system also avoids a turbocharger and conventional stepped automatic transmission. The gasoline engine works with electric motor generators through a planetary power split device. There are no normal gear changes. The system continuously adjusts how much work comes from the engine and electric motors. This design can create an unusual engine sound during hard acceleration, but it also removes several traditional transmission components. Toyota has used variations of this hybrid approach for decades. That experience gives the RAV4 a large service network and a substantial population of technicians familiar with the system. The RAV4's biggest financial advantage is depreciation. Recent resale data places the RAV4 among the small SUVs that retain the highest percentage of their original value after 5 years. That matters because depreciation often costs more than fuel, maintenance and repairs combined. Suppose one SUV uses $500 less fuel each year. After 5 years, it saves $2,500. That sounds impressive. But if it loses $6,000 more through depreciation, it was still the more expensive vehicle to own. The RAV4 protects the owner on both sides. It uses relatively little fuel, and it can retain substantial value. The vehicle also has enough space to remain useful for many families. The 2026 model provides up to approximately 37.8 cubic feet of cargo room behind the rear seats. That is not the largest number in the class. It is enough for normal family life. A RAV4 is less likely to be replaced because it became too small than a subcompact SUV. But the RAV4 is not automatically the cheapest choice. Purchase price matters. Strong demand can result in limited discounts, dealer-installed accessories, or unfavorable financing. An efficient SUV becomes a poor value when the buyer overpays. Never calculate ownership cost from MSRP alone. Ask for the complete out-the-door price, interest rate, mandatory accessories, registration, taxes, and any dealership fees. A $5,000 markup can erase years of fuel savings. The newest RAV4 generation also introduces uncertainty. Toyota's hybrid architecture is mature. The newest software, electronics, displays, sensors, and body components are not. A first-year redesign may experience issues that later production corrects. That does not mean the RAV4 will be unreliable. It means buyers should not assume every component is proven simply because the Toyota badge is familiar. Trim selection is critical. The regular hybrid is likely the lower-cost choice for most owners. The plug-in hybrid offers greater electric range and more power. But it costs more and includes a larger battery and charging hardware. It works best for someone with dependable home charging. Without consistent charging, the regular hybrid is generally easier to justify. Smaller wheels reduce tire expenses. Front-wheel drive reduces initial cost and improves fuel economy. All-wheel drive makes sense for drivers who need traction. Adventure-oriented trims can add capability, but also increase price and operating expenses. The RAV4 ranks second because it combines excellent efficiency, strong value retention, and mature hybrid engineering. But the number one SUV provides many of those advantages at a lower starting price. Toyota lists the redesigned 2026 RAV4 with up to approximately 44 miles per gallon combined in front-wheel drive hybrid form, around 40 miles per gallon combined with hybrid AWD, and up to 37.8 cubic feet behind the rear seats. Current resale analysis places the RAV4 among the strongest small SUVs for 5-year value retention. Number 1. Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid. The number one SUV with the lowest potential 5-year ownership cost is the Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid, and it wins by combining 3 advantages: a relatively low purchase price, excellent fuel economy, and strong resale value. The 2026 Corolla Cross Hybrid begins below $30,000 before destination charges and options. That makes it considerably less expensive than many compact hybrids. It also returns an estimated 42 miles per gallon combined, and hybrid trims include all-wheel drive. That combination is difficult to match. A buyer receives SUV seating, useful cargo space, hybrid efficiency, and all-wheel drive capability without moving into RAV4 or CRV pricing. The lower purchase price creates savings in several areas: less money financed, less interest, potentially lower sales tax, and less capital exposed to depreciation. Fuel savings begin immediately. At 15,000 miles per year, the difference between 42 and 26 miles per gallon can become hundreds of dollars annually. Across 5 years, the gap can reach several $1,000s depending on gasoline prices. The Corolla Cross Hybrid also uses Toyota's power split hybrid architecture. The gasoline engine, electric motors and planetary gear system work together without a conventional stepped automatic transmission. The rear wheels are assisted electrically in hybrid all-wheel drive versions, removing the need for a traditional driveshaft connecting the front and rear axles. That does not make the system mechanically invisible. There is still a high-voltage battery, cooling equipment, electric motors, sensors, and control electronics, but the basic hybrid philosophy has been used extensively across Toyota's lineup. Resale value strengthens the case. Current analysis places the Corolla Cross among the small SUVs with some of the strongest 5-year retained value. 3-year resale research has also shown the Corolla Cross performing especially well in the extra-small SUV category. A lower purchase price combined with strong retained value can dramatically reduce depreciation. That is the formula buyers often miss. Fuel economy receives the attention. Depreciation controls the larger amount of money. But the Corolla Cross Hybrid has significant compromises. It is smaller than the RAV4 and CR-V. The rear seat is tighter. The cargo area is less flexible for large families. Interior materials can feel basic. Road and engine noise may be more noticeable. And acceleration can produce the steady engine sound associated with Toyota's hybrid system. Those weaknesses matter. A vehicle cannot save money if you dislike it enough to replace it after 2 years. It also cannot save money if your family outgrows it. Before choosing the Corolla Cross, perform a realistic space test. Install the child seat, sit behind the driver, load the stroller, bring the luggage. If the vehicle already feels tight while new, it will not become larger as your needs change. The Corolla Cross is ideal for individuals, couples, and small families. It also works for older drivers who want a higher seating position without owning a large SUV. It is less suitable for households that regularly carry several adults, large pets, or extensive equipment. The hybrid is not automatically the cheapest configuration for every person. The gasoline Corolla Cross starts several $1,000s lower. A low-mileage driver may spend less overall with the gasoline model. Someone driving 5,000 miles per year may need a long time to recover the hybrid premium. A high-mileage urban commuter is much more likely to benefit from the hybrid. This is why the winner depends on usage. For the broad ranking, the hybrid receives first place because it balances price, fuel economy, all-wheel drive, and resale exceptionally well. But the gasoline version may still win for someone who drives very little. Avoid the highest trim if cost is the priority. Large wheels, luxury features, and additional equipment increase the purchase price. The middle hybrid trim may provide the best balance. You receive the efficient powertrain and important safety equipment without spending thousands on features that do not reduce operating expenses. The Corolla Cross Hybrid is not exciting. It is not luxurious. It does not offer the space of the CR-V. It does not drive like the Mazda. And it does not provide the all-weather identity of a Subaru. But 5-year ownership cost rewards discipline, not excitement. Buy only the space you need. Choose the efficient powertrain. Avoid unnecessary options, maintain it properly, and allow strong resale value to protect your money. That is why the Corolla Cross Hybrid takes first place. Toyota lists the 2026 Corolla Cross Hybrid from approximately $28,995 with an EPA estimated 42 miles per gallon combined. Current resale studies place the Corolla Cross close behind the RAV4 and ahead of many small SUV competitors in 5-year retained value. Final verdict. Here is the final ranking. At number 7, the Mazda CX-5. Its naturally aspirated engine and 6-speed automatic provide mechanical familiarity, but standard all-wheel drive and average fuel economy increase 5-year expenses. At number 6, the Hyundai Tucson Hybrid. It delivers excellent efficiency, strong power, and valuable original owner warranty coverage. But depreciation and powertrain complexity prevent it from ranking higher. At number 5, the Subaru Forester. It provides space, visibility, and standard all-wheel drive at a reasonable price. Buyers who do not need that capability may spend less elsewhere. At number 4, the Subaru Crosstrek. Its low purchase price, manageable size, and standard all-wheel drive create excellent value, as long as the interior is large enough for your needs. At number 3, the Honda CR-V. It combines efficiency, space, strong resale, and widespread service support. The gasoline version may suit low-mileage drivers, while the hybrid makes more sense for urban commuters. At number 2, the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. Its fuel economy, mature hybrid system, and exceptional resale value create one of the strongest 5-year ownership formulas available. And at number 1, the Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid. Its relatively low starting price, 42 mile per gallon combined rating, and strong retained value make it the lowest cost overall choice for many buyers. But the ranking changes depending on how you drive. For low annual mileage, a gasoline Corolla Cross, Crosstrek, or CX-5 may cost less than purchasing a more expensive hybrid. For heavy city driving, the Corolla Cross Hybrid, CR-V Hybrid, and RAV4 Hybrid become much more attractive. For snow and rural roads, the Crosstrek or Forester may justify the cost of standard all-wheel drive. For families requiring maximum space, the CR-V may prevent an expensive early replacement. And for buyers who want strong warranty protection during the first 5 years, the Tucson Hybrid deserves serious consideration. Before buying any SUV, calculate 6 numbers: the real purchase price, the interest paid during the loan, expected depreciation, insurance, fuel based on your actual mileage, and maintenance for the exact wheels and drivetrain you are selecting. Do not use the manufacturer's best fuel economy number if you are buying a different configuration. Do not calculate insurance using someone else's age and location. And do not assume every hybrid automatically saves money. A hybrid premium of $4,000 requires enough fuel savings to recover $4,000. Sometimes that happens quickly, sometimes it takes longer than the owner keeps the vehicle. The cheapest SUV is not the one with the smallest payment. It is the one that removes the least money from your life during the entire ownership period. Now I want to hear from you. Which SUV has cost you the least money over 5 years? How many miles did you drive? What did you spend on repairs? And how much was the vehicle worth when you sold it? Leave the model, year, mileage, and biggest expense in the comments. Because in the next video, we are ranking 5 SUVs that hold their value better than most buyers expect, and one luxury model may be cheaper to own than several mainstream alternatives.